Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be based on how to get flawless foundation, a flawless base for your makeup. This is especially targeted towards people who have really bad skin or suffer with acne breakout and marks from that, who suffer with pigmentation, with dark under eye circles, just ultimately people who have trouble concealing their imperfections with makeup. So that's what this video is based on. I show you how I cover all my acne scarring, how I cover the pigmentation left from that acne scarring, and just all that good stuff, and how I mix foundations to get a flawless base, how I cream contour as well as color correct, and how I add them highlight. If you'd like to see how I do this, then just keep watching. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. My channel is growing very slowly, but it's growth nonetheless, so I'd like to thank all of you who watch, and I really appreciate it. And let's just hope I don't stop. Let's just hope I don't stop getting subscribers, because I really like doing these videos for you guys. And so if you'd like to see how I achieve this flawless makeup base, then guys, please keep on watching. Okay, so let's begin on how I start when I'm doing full coverage makeup. What I like to do first is, I always, no matter what type of makeup actually that I'm doing, I always love to start with toning my skin. Now, there's no particular toner that I have to use when I do this process. It's just whatever toner I currently have at the time. And I really love the IQ one, the IQ toner that's from Dischem. But when I went, they didn't have any, so I'm trying this Nivea Shine Control toner just to see how that works. So I also just like to sort of scrub my skin with the cotton pad, just to get any oil off my face, because my face is very oily and I just like a very sort of matte base to begin with. So after I've done that, I like to add on whatever moisturizer I'm going to use that day. It changes all the time. So this time I used the 18-1 Miracle Serum, and this is from Dirty Works. And I just put that all over my skin just to hydrate it a little bit. So my skin has been up to complete shit recently. I've broken out really badly, like all here. And yeah, like I've just suffered with my skin a lot growing up, and I've just always tried to find ways to sort of get good coverage, make my skin look almost flawless. So what I'm going to do now is just take the LA Girl green color corrector, and I'm just going to color correct all the red bits on my face. Now if you don't know, green is used to color correct redness that you may have on your skin. I actually have a lot of redness. I don't have darkness, I just have a lot of redness on my skin. Like my skin is just permanently red. So I like to just color correct where I have any redness. And normally you'll find redness around your breakouts, so it's always good just to color correct that if you are trying to achieve a flawless makeup base. So I don't really have redness on my forehead, but I just do that always. It's just a habit. And then to conceal any darkness, now I don't really have pigmentation. The only pigmentation that I do have is from my acne scarring. So when I get a pimple, even if I do not touch it, do not look at it, it will leave a scar on my face. So I just take the orange LA Girl concealer, and I just pop some on underneath my eyes, and then just where I've got sort of like pimple scarring that's like really dark, and I just sort of put it around that area where I have that really dark red, no sorry, that really dark brown scarring. Because if you put your foundation over it and your foundation is the same color as your normal natural skin, it will show up very grey on the darker areas of your face, and that's not because your foundation is the incorrect color for you. It's just that now you've got another color on your face which is darker than your actual skin color, and when you put that foundation on top of that, it looks grey, it looks ashy, and it looks like it does not belong on your face. So that's why I always say color correct first and then put your foundation over, and you'll see how nice it turns out. So all I do after that is just blend it out with my blending sponge. So once I've got all the color correcting colors blended out, I then like to move on to foundation. So when it comes to full coverage foundation, it was always hit and miss with me throughout the years, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And I find that as we've progressed with makeup, and as more people started using makeup, they started bringing out better quality stuff. So for better full coverage for me, I like to mix foundations. I sometimes will use one and then just layer it, but I tend to like to mix foundations just to see how things work out. And I found a really nice color combination and mixture using the Crayolan TV paint stick as well as the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. As weird as the combination does sound, it actually works out pretty beautifully. So first, what I like to do is take the Crayolan TV paint stick and I just put it all over my face, like as you'd normally do for your foundation. And then afterwards, I'll take the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. Now, I've only tried this combination a few times, but it's worked. So yeah, then I'll just pop a little bit of the Photo Focus foundation on my skin. Just wait for it to sort of melt into the skin. It takes a bit of a while, and then go in with however you like to blend out your foundation. This time I'm just going to use my blending sponge to blend out the foundation. So after our foundation is put on and blended out, I like to move on to concealer. Now, I haven't always been a concealer person. I generally just put my foundation on and move on with my life. But recently I have started to use concealers a bit more. And I really do see the benefit of them, and I really like the way your makeup turns out when you do use concealer. But I just never did it because of sort of the process. You know, like putting on your makeup is hard enough, and now you have to deal with adding extra layers. And yeah, like I never saw the need for concealer until I eventually said, okay, let me just try this in my makeup, let's see what happens. And I guess I've been doing it. Now, I don't do this all the time. Only if I'm going out. I will never do this every day for work. I will just never. I don't have the time nor the patience to be painting my face halfway to hell. So for the sake of this video and the explanation on how to get full coverage flawless foundation, I will show you what I do. So I just put the concealer on to these points of my face. It's where I need it. It's where I like to actually have it. Oh, I've actually put up quite a bit on. And then same procedure, just take your sponge and start to blend it all out. We blended the concealer out. I don't always do this, but for the sake of the video and full coverage glam makeup, I decided we will cream contour. So now I'm just using the Allegal Pro concealer, but this is just in the shade Toast, which is a darker shade than my actual skin. And we are going to cream contour with this. So how to know where to put your cream contour? Just suck your face in like a fish and it should give you some direction. Just like that. And then I like to just add some to my forehead and but here, and with the same thing I like to just contour my nose as well. Okay, so after you look kind of crazy, same procedure again. Just take your blending sponge or blending brush, whatever you use, and blend out the contour. Oh, we just need to set everything into place. So I'm taking my NYX contour palette, and what I like to do is I just set the contour into place first. So I use like a mixture almost of all these brown colors except this one. I use a mixture of those just to set the contour into place. We've set our contour. I'm now going to move on to set the highlight. So for this I'm using the RCMA No Color Powder, and the nice thing about this, or well, the trick about this is you can now clean up wherever you sort of see that your contour went a bit crazy. You can use this powder to clean that up. So we're going to just clean up here. So we clean up just to define our contour, make it a bit sharper, and just set our highlighter or our highlighting and concealing shades into place. And then you can just leave it to bake for a little while and then do the rest of your makeup. Once you've dusted your powder off, it's safe to go now onto the highlighting powders. So I just like to use the yellow powder that comes in this palette and then just use it underneath my eyes, and as well as on my forehead, so like just a little bit right there and then a little bit right there. So guys, I'm just going to move on and do the rest of my eye makeup, and I will be back. Okay guys, so I've put the rest of my face on. Now we can just move on to finishing off our flawless skin look. So also I only do this when I'm going out, or if I want to be a little bit extra, then I will go in with some highlighter. Now I'm using the highlighter from the Carly Bible palette, and I like mixing these two together and just topping it off with this one. This is a bit too dark for my skin, but sometimes I do use it if it's later on in the evening. And if there's one thing I have to say about the Carly Bible palette, the eyeshadows aren't that great, but these highlighting shades are beautiful. Okay, and then I like to put some here. It's a little there. And then what I also like to do, just tone it down a little bit, is go back in with the blending sponge and just tone it down a little. And then I take the light shade, which is this one right there, and then I top it off with that.